BMF stands for Black Mafia Family, and it represents everything we about, T. That's the difference between us. You always asking for permission instead of just taking what's rightfully yours.
What have you done, Demetrius?
Y'all don't have nothing else to worry about.
I don't know who the hell you are anymore.
What type of game you trying to run here? Ain't no game. I won't Meech. Be we family. And family do whatever they gotta do to protect one another. I want to build a legacy for our family. We hustlers. It's in our blood.
What's going on, fam? It's your man, VACAY-J. And yes, we are at the Season 1 finale, Episode 8. This is the recap for BMF. And if you're loving BMF, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Absolutely like, comment below with any theories, any thoughts. And we're going to break down the final episode of Season 1 of BMF. But before we do that, again, if you missed any episode, definitely go to my BMF playlist and look at all the recaps so you can get all caught up on every episode. All right. So now let's break it down. Season 1 finale, another great show. Let's break it down. So here's the title. The title is The King of Detroit. And here's the description. In an effort to expand into new territory, Meech discovers a disturbing alliance, then hatches a plan to eliminate the threat. Terry is forced to make a life-altering decision. All right, so we start off with, Meech talking about, the weather in Detroit and how, 1 minute it's going to be hot and 1 minute it's cold. It's all good when it's nice and warm. But one thing that doesn't change is loyalty. And we see your girl, Kato, rolling around, right, in her car. And she's looking around and she's meeting up with your boy, Lamar, again. He's all shot up, arm bleeding and everything. So he's still, trying to recover from getting shot from Tiny and them. So, she's talking about, yeah, I know, what's going on with Meech and I'm going to help you out and I'm going to set it up where, you can get at him and all this and that. He's like, listen, this better not be no okey doke. You better not be playing with me, and she's like, nah, I'm going to set it up right now. We're going to make it happen. I know about the security. And he's like, how do you know that? And she's like, because I'm sleeping with his boy, B. Mickey, you can get a lot when you got that good, right? So, she's telling him that she's playing B. Mickey in the whole nine. At the same time, he's like, yo, just let me know. Just keep me posted on what's going on, right? So she looks around and kind of find out your boy, B. Mickey, is in the cut, right? So it looks like it was really a setup for B. Mickey to get at Lamar, right? So he gets in his whip. And now he's chasing after Lamar. But what happens is while B. Mickey's going after Lamar to take him out, your boy B. Mickey gets pulled over by the cops, right? So they pull him out the car. He's like, what's going on? What's wrong? Da-da-da. They immediately put handcuffs on him and they take him in, right? Now we at the school. Terry's at school and he's seeing all the breakdances happen. The cops show up to the schools like, Terry Flannery, come with us. They put handcuffs on him in the school and walk him out of the school. Absolutely embarrassing. Kids is like, ooh, what's going on? But they are arresting. Looks like they're arresting all the 50 boys, right? So you got Meech, you got Lori. They on the porch chilling at her mom's house in the whole nine. And he's telling her how, her mother loves him. Next thing you know, the cops roll up and they put handcuffs on Meech. And Meech is like, what's going on? And he's talking to, Detective Bryant. He's like, what's going on, Bryant? He's like, I'm taking you in. I'm coming to take you in. So, of course, Meech is like, man, this is crazy. This is some BS right here, And, again, this is what Detective Bryant has to do to show that he's not a dirty cop. But he's taking in Meech and everybody else and has the whole force going after the 50 boys. Again, remember, Detective Lopez got murdered and he's trying to find out what's going on. So they locked him up. Meech, Terry, B. Mickey, they all in lockup. And they talking about how Kato is behind all of this. Terry's just like, man, Kato, every time something happens, Kato's the one. And Meech is like, yo, if it wasn't for her, man, I wouldn't be here, man. She practically saved my life, by hitting dude in the head or whatever. So, of course, Terry's like, nah, man, talking bad about Kato. And your boy B. Mickey, he's all, love sick and the whole nine. He's like, nah, don't talk about my girl like that, So, Terry's just like, yo, man, for real, what do we really know about her? And then they see her actually walking by with handcuffs on her. And Misha's like, yo, we know that she didn't run. She's in here with us, So, Terry's making a point like, yo, what do we really know about her, man? Because every time, she's around, we get messed up. So Misha's like, yo, I need to make a phone call because the product is out there just laying out. They threw the product away. So he calls, his dude, from the department, labor department, from the public works. He's cleaning up the place, pulling up the product, putting it in the bag and the whole nine. The cops are still looking around and looking to see who's out there. But the guy's out there just doing work. Looks like he's just picking up garbage. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, fool cops. He's talking mess about the cops while he's picking up Meech's product, right? So he makes that phone call to get his problem. Now, you got the commander, and the commander's inside talking to Meech. And Meech is, he got his feet up. He's like, yo, like, who are you? Like, if you would have brought me in, I would have happily came with you, right? So he's kind of flirting with her, whatever. So she's like, listen, I want answers as to who murdered, Detective Lopez. My detective got, murdered. He's like, I'm sorry, but I don't know anything, And she's like, listen, you're lying to me the same way, your sister's lying to me. And I could put I could bring her back in, put her in a hot seat. And basically she threatened his sister, saying threatened him with his sister and saying that she's going to put stuff on the family. He's like, listen, you're reaching. You don't got nothing on me. You don't got nothing on me. She's like, I'm going to see you soon. Meanwhile, back at the lawyer office, we got Lucille and Charles, and Karen is definitely giving them the news as to what the settlement is, and it looks like it's going to be $230,000. That's right. It's not $25,000. It's $230,000. And Karen is like, listen, congratulations. We found out that, the nurse said that the doctor had alcohol on his breath. And that's how we got the settlement, because she threatened to go to, the news about this. So they got the settlement. And of course, look at Charles' face. He's happy. They're all happy. And she's like, congratulations. And, turn around. Charles is like, I just want to say that I'm sorry. He apologizes to her and the whole nine. He's coming around. It seems like he's coming around because things are moving along for that settlement. Right. So it looks like Lucille and Charles are back in good again. Meanwhile, because they have nothing on the 50 boys, they let them out and they're laughing at the cops as they're walking out of the police station like, y'all don't got nothing on us. We gonna walk out here mafia style and the whole nine. Meanwhile, cops are definitely mad. They're like, why are we letting them go? And the commander's like, listen, they didn't have any drugs on them. They didn't have anything on them, so we had to let them go. There's nothing tying us and keeping them here. So, of course, they're laughing about it. It's a real funny moment because they're like, yo, y'all got nothing on us. Y'all thought y'all could take us down, but y'all have nothing on us. Of course, Detective Brian, he is mad and, pissed off at the fact that they couldn't pin anything on the 50 boys because, again, they had no product on them, right? So, the commander's like, listen, I want y'all to stay on these cats. If they sell anything, a nick, a dime, anything, I want y'all to bring them in, right? So, Meech comes out and he's looking at Detective Brian like, really, dog? Really, you really gonna bring us in? You know what I mean? Like, knowing what I know about you and how I paid you, right? Kato rolls up behind Meech, and Meech is like, yo, we need to talk. We need to talk. We definitely need to talk. Just follow me. So, Kato is following Meech out the door in the whole nine. Detective Brian is still looking at him with his evil eye like, yo, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna find a way to get y'all one way or another. I'm going to find a way to get to Meech and the 50 boys and take them down because, the commander put him on desk duty and he's mad about that because the commander can't trust Detective Bryant yet. Right. So now Detective Bryant's looking at B. Mickey and B. Mickey's looking back like, I better get up out of here. Right. So you got Meech and Kato and they're talking and they're like, just he's getting to know her and really trying to find out about her. Terry made a good point. He don't know anything about Kato. Right. So he's asking her, about how she got into the game. She's like, yeah, my dad was in the game and, he was down with these cats back in the day. And, they kind of share a little bonding moment. Meech is like, yeah, we used to hang out at this spot and just to learn the game. And, she's like, yeah, my dad used to hang out over there as well. And he's like, yo, what was your dad's name? And she's like, yeah, CeeLo or C Lover or something like that. And he's like, okay. And he's asking her, was he down with, this crew? And she was like, nah, he's down with the BKs. And Meech is like, yo, you taking it way back with that name. She's like, yeah, that name, the Black Killers. Yeah, everybody better remember that name. So he's telling her that she's a good soldier and all this and that, and that she's, all good, right? So he gets a phone call and he's like, all right, we on the way. So he tells Kato, yo, they got the drop on where Lamar is, right? So they go and shoot over there. Now we see Lamar, and he looks like he's getting patched up by your boy, Ashy Larry. That's right, comedian Donnell Rollins is in this. And, he's patching them up, making jokes and everything else like that. And he's like, yeah, he's like, hurry up. He's like, you want me to do a good job or you want to be still leaking? And he's talking about how the people are uncovered, and he's like, man, don't you supposed to cover them up? He's like, man, I can't watch and see the view. It's gonna mess up my view. So they patch him up. He patches him up, and Lamar's like, listen, I want something else. All right. So now Meech, Kato, they show up, and the kid is like, yeah, we saw his car. They're like, yo, he's definitely here. So Meech is like, all right, well, let's go handle this. Let's go get this cat. Right. So they go in and they go into the mortuary. They break down the door. And they rolling up in the spot to take out Lamar. It's about that time to eliminate Lamar, right? So they roll up in the spot. And Meech is talking about, the alternative music that you play when you're riding out and the whole nine, when you're about to ride in and handle some business, right? So they roll up in while, the mortuary guy is messing around with the dead lady. And he's like, yo, what type of sick stuff is this? And he's like, yo, this is a mortuary, show some respect. And they're like, how you showing respect when you having sex with these dead people, right? Crazy, right? He's like, yo, we gonna find them. So they look for him, only to see that Lamar took the hearse, right? So that's the deal that he made with him. He left the car and took the hearse to get away because they wouldn't expect him to be rolling out in a hearse. So he waited for them to go inside and took the hearse to get away. Now, back at the Flannery house, we got Charles. He's looking at the deal, looking at the settlement. He's happy about it. He drops something on the floor, and Lucille's like, you dropped something. It looks like a business for sale, luxury car service, right? So she picks it up and takes it over to him, and he's like, listen, I've been thinking about, buying that car service. Pastor Swift suggested I should do a car service. He's like, when did you take his advice? He's like, yo, we could use the settlement money. And she's like, listen, what's ours is ours, and that's Terry's money. What Terry decides to do with it is up to him. And he's like, yo, but he doesn't deserve it, after everything he put us through. And she's like, listen, don't even worry about it. What's ours is ours. Don't worry about it at all. All right. Now, back at the record store, we see the crew is together. The 50 boys are together. They're playing dominoes. And your boy is like, hey, listen, I've been thinking about a name. And he said, how about we go with the name Mafia? So they're like, yeah, Mafia sounds cool or whatever. And Meech is like, yo, but, the only thing about it is we not Italian, we black, right? So they're going back and forth about that. They go in the back, they got to count some money. And Terry's like, listen, we only got a couple of days left to, get the money up for the re-up, so we can get more supply. So, they got to handle some business. So like, listen, we're going to start doing something different. We're going to start selling out of the stores. What about the stores being that the block is hot? Let's go sell out the stores, right? So now at the lawyer office, Karen is, sharing that, this is the settlement, here's the check. But she's also letting them know that this check, this money, it's $100,000 is going to go into a trust. And Terry can't spend it until he turns 18 years old. Now, if they want to do anything with it, then they got to get, something from the judge and all this and that. So Terry's like, are you telling me that I can't even spend the money? They messed up on my eye and we can't even spend the money, to take care of the family without a judge or my parents' permission. So, he's like, yo, this is BS. And Charles and Terry leave, but they do have a check for $100,000. And, Karen's just like, congratulations. It's going to help your family for generations to come. Again, this is 1986. So $100,000 can go a long way. All right. Now in the store, you got Kato and Homeboy right there from the 50 Boys. And they up in the spot. They got, cats coming through or whatever. You got B Mickey and Meech. They outside just, observing, looking out, making sure everything is clear. And they're waiting for a crew to come up, local crew to come up. And we see a local crew come up. They see them, stepping out in the crowd. So who do we see? Your boy DC Young Fly into the BMF universe, right? So he's rolling up in there, and Meech is like, "What's going on?" He comes in with B Mickey. He's like, "Listen, man, take me to your boss, man. Take me to your boss, because DC Young Fly is like, yo, they call him Saint, right? He's like, yo, get out of our spot. You messing up our business." And Meech is like, "Yo, just take me to your boss, man. You know what I'm saying? Let him know I got something for him that's going to even give him more business, and it'd be a shame that you messed it up, right? Because I know you not the boss." DC was claiming that he was the boss, but Meech is like, "You're not the boss, man. Just take me to your boss, and I'm gonna make things better," right? So they go to the gambling spot, and DC, they call him Saint, is talking to dude, and he's like, "Yo, that's Homeboy. You know him?" He's like, "Yeah, I know him." You know what I'm saying? He's like, "I know him." And then, of course, he has a problem with it or whatever, and dude's like, "Yo, shut up, Saint." So he sits down with Meech, and he's like, "Yeah, man, like you coming through like this, and you talking about you want to do business." And Meech is like, "Yo, I'm actually trying to give you more business. Me and T got a plug." And he's like, "Yo, you think I need more business, man?" He's like, "Yo, just stay out of my lane, man. Just stay out of my lane, man. It's all good, but just stay out of my lane, man. I'm surprised you had the audacity to come through." He's like, "Yo, listen, do you know this cat named C Lover or whatever? He was down with this crew." He's like, "Yeah, I know that crazy guy, but he wasn't down with the BKs. He was down with this other crew." And that other crew, he's like, "Oh, so was Lamar down with that other crew?" He's like, "Yeah, Lamar and that guy CeeLo used to roll together." So now we see that Kato actually lied to Meech, right? Kato really lied to Meech, and Meech figured it out. Meech figured out that she was lying, that, her father wasn't down with this other crew, and they was down with Lamar, that his father was down with Lamar all this time, all right? So now, of course, Kato goes to see B Mickey, and they're talking about getting at Lamar and taking out Lamar, and, B Mickey's all wide open, nose wide open, like, "Yeah, Meech is my family, but he don't make me feel the way you make me feel." And meanwhile, in the background, they're going back and forth about what they're going to do and how they're going to get at Lamar and how they're going to take it out. And in the background, they got the song playing Masquerade. It's all a masquerade. They're telling lies pretty much to each other, and they don't even know that they lying to each other. They think they're telling the truth to each other, right? So now we got Charles, Lucille, and your guy T, and they're looking at a place here. They're looking at that service, that luxury service. And Charles is breaking down how he drives for the guy every now and then, but his wife got sick and they had to work from home. And they make about $85 a week per car. And Terry's breaking down the numbers like, "Yo, that's a whole lot of money, per year in the whole nine." So Charles is like, "Listen, I don't have a legacy to give you, but I think that with the settlement money, you can invest in this, buy the business, and you can give this to, Terry Jr." And Lucille's all for it. She's like, "Listen, you could pass this on. This could definitely, change the game and get you out of the game and get you out of the drug game." So he's like, "Listen, I really got to think about it." He gets a page. He's like, "I got to think about it." Meanwhile, Meech is at the mechanic shop, and his boy's putting in a new stash for the money and everything. B Mickey shows up. They talk, and B Mickey finally tells Meech, like, "Yo, Kato's been working with Lamar." And Meech is like, "Yo, I already knew that, man. Already knew that." He's like, "Yo, I got to make sure my people are loyal around me, man." And he's like, "Yo, what would happen if, I didn't tell you, man?" He said, "I already figured it out. Don't even worry about it. We already got a plan." He's like, "Yo, I try to set him up." And Meech is like, "Yo, one thing Lamar is he's not stupid. He would have saw that a mile away, but maybe we can set it up where we want him to see that you're about to take him out, but we get him another way, right?" All right, so meanwhile, Meech goes to the record store, the record shop, and he's talking to Terry, right? Terry's in there counting up the money, doing what they do. And then Meech tells Terry, "Yo, here's the name of the crew. The name is going to be Black Mafia Family. We're black, and, we roll like a mafia, and we're a family." And T's like, "Word, okay, what does BMF mean," right? He really was like, "Does it mean Big Meech Flannery?" He's like, "Nah, it doesn't." Right? So, Terry's just like, okay, it sounds all right. But then he's like, nah, that sounds real good. That sounds real good. That sounds real dope, right? So, Meech really wants to meet up with Big L. And he's like, yo, she don't want to do business. He's like, yo, that's the problem. That's the difference between you and me. Like, you need to just take me out there, man. You need to just take me to meet up with Big L. He's like, yo, she don't want to do business with you. And then, Meech really pounds on Terry to say, yo, all right, I'll take you. I'll take you with me. I'll take you with me. So now here's the setup where we see Kato rolling up and B Mickey rolling up and talking to her. And Lamar sees that and is like, yo, this chick is trying to set me up. And that's exactly what Meech wants. He wants him to see that so then he can just go ahead and do what he does. So Lamar rolls up in the club while Kato's in the club. This is all the setup. And takes her up, right? Takes the gun out and snatches her up outside of the club. Snatches her up out of the club. And they like, yo, you need to stop. I need to explain something to you. He's like, nah. You trying to set me up to get killed, this, that, and the third. So turn around, they look up, and, who do we see? We see your boy, Meech. And Meech is like, yeah, you crispy guy. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we setting you up, We see Meech, but we also see B Mickey. He got the strap, and the strap is not pointed at Lamar. The strap is actually pointed at your girl, Kato. And Kato, the look on her face is priceless. She's like, oh my God, like seriously? And, he's like, sorry, Kay. And your boy Lamar laughs. He's like, yo, see, they use you to set me up to get to me. So your boy Lamar tries to shoot at Meech, and Meech gets the drop on him. Now he's laid out. Your boy is getting his water shut off, right? We predicted this. Yeah, your boy's getting his water shut off. So meanwhile, Kato runs, and B Mickey goes at her with the strap, and she's standing there with her hands up, and she puts her hands down, and she's like, I love you, right? And then she puts her hands down, and your boy B Mickey blasted her. Wow. And after he blasted her, he said, I love you too. But now she's all laid out in the whole nine, and she had to be dealt with. Of course, that is affecting your boy B Mickey because he was really in love with her. That was like his love. You know what I mean? So he's definitely affected by all of this stuff. Now back at the Flannery house, we got Meech, and they drinking up. They drinking some, liquor, whatever the case is. And your boy B Mickey's messed up about the whole thing. He's like, yo, man, that was my girl. I really loved her in the whole nine. And I did all of this for you, And Meech is just like, yo, man, it was better that you just go ahead and take care of it and, take the Band-Aid off and just handle it because she would have broke your heart anyway. And, B Mickey's like, yo, yeah, that's funny coming from you, a guy that only thinks about himself. I was really in love with her, and I did this all for you. And Meech's like, yo, that's loyalty right there, man. I appreciate you, man, but it is what it is, right? So Lucille comes downstairs. She sees the boys drinking. She tells B Mickey, listen, you can't drive like that. Go lay on the couch. She's like, okay. And Lucille's like, yo, what did you do? What's going on? I see that your guys are not outside anymore. And Misha's like, yo, you don't have to worry about anything anymore. Everything's taken care of now, right? You don't got to worry about anything. And Lucille's like, what did you do? What did you do, Meech? What happened? What are you doing? Like, I don't even know who you are anymore, And he's like, yo, I just wanted to protect the family. I protected the family. It is what it is, And she's like, yo, I don't know who you are. And he's like, I'm your firstborn. I'm your promise. And she's like, listen, you messed up that bond a long time ago. You messed that up. So now we see Meech and Terry, and they rolling in Big L's spot. They see all the artwork and all the, stuff that they're doing. Meech is going through stuff, getting all excited. Big L comes through and is like, listen, that piece right there is from China. It's $250,000. And if you don't want any problems, you need to put that back, right? So Meech is like, listen, no problems here, I just wanted to come and, talk with you. And she's like, listen, we don't do business. He's like, well, my hands have been on each and every one of those dollars that's in that bag we're about to give you. And plus, we wanted to let you know that we need to expand. So we're going to need, 10 keys. We're going to need more. We're going to need way, way more, So she's like, listen, man. She takes out the strap, her and her goons. It's like, listen, I don't do business with you. And it is what it is. Like, get out of my warehouse right now. This is very disrespectful and everything else like that. So Meech's just like, all right, cool. No problem. No problem. Let me get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, he sees that she means business and she really does not want to do business with Meech, right? So Meech goes outside and Terry's like, listen, he's right. Like, we're going to need more. And she's like, yo, that's funny you asking me for more before you was asking for an extension. He's like, well, we big time on the Southwest now. So, we're going to need more product, and that's what it is. And she tells him, listen, man, fine, we're going to give you more, but listen, don't ever bring Meech here again. Like, don't ever disrespect me again, and a whole nine. Or it's just going to be not just going to be Meech's blood, but it's going to be your blood as well that's going to be spilling, right? So we see Big L for the first time really take out the straps. Now we see your boy B Mickey boy, and he is going through it, man. He's going through it. This man has lost his long lost love. Like, he was really in love with Kato, just reminiscing, driving in the car, sweating, because he murdered his own girl, right? That's kind of wild, right? So he's reminiscing on how she looked at the party and how they made a bond on the street and how she was showing her leadership and everything else like that. He's really going down memory lane, just thinking about all the great moments that he had with his shorty, right? And the same shorty that he had to take out, he's reminiscing about all the good times and how she was always coming to him for everything, only for him to see the image that he blasted his own girl and she had to be taken out for her disloyalty to the crew, right? So now, while he's driving, he gets pulled over by Detective Brian, and he's just really on a rampage. He gets him out of the car, puts him on the car, puts handcuffs on him, and takes him in. This is the last thing that B Mickey needs right now. So now Terry and Meech, they get up. Terry brings, the product. He brings the 10 keys to Meech, and Meech is all excited. He's like, yo, this is great. You know what I'm saying? She really gave it to you. All right, let's do this. Like, he's really hyped up and ready to go. But Terry, again, is like, he's having this internal conflict. He really doesn't want to move forward, but he doesn't know how to really tell Meech how he's going to do it. You know what I'm saying? How he wants to do it. And he's really thinking about the future of his family and everything else like that. So, Meech is just like, come on, man, you being a downer right now. You're not going to rain on my parade. I'm out of here. So Meech leaves off with the product. Meanwhile, back at the Flannery house, Terry is talking to the fam, and he's like, listen, I thought about, that car service that you thinking about, you want me to think about, and I'm looking to get into it. He's about to say I'm looking to get into it, about to say he's really for it, and then turn around, LaWanda has the baby, and she's about to walk out. And she's like, yeah, I'm about to go stay with the family in Philadelphia for a couple months. Of course, T is just like, couple months, what's going on? She's like, listen, I gave you the ultimatum, and it took you a very long time, so I'm leaving till you figure it out. Of course, Terry's not trying to have that. He's trying to, he's not trying to let her take his son and everything. And Charles has to get in between, like, yo, you can't force her against her will. If she wants to leave, let her leave. So he walks out to the car, and Lucille's like, listen, just calm down. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So now, back at the police station, you got Detective Bryant, and he's really trying to shake down B Mickey. B Mickey's getting a page, and he's like, who is this, from T or from Meech? And he's like, yo, it's from Ronald Reagan. So Detective Bryant pulls out B Mickey's gun. He's like, yo, you thought you could stash this in your car. We found it, and guess what? We find that with our, research that it traces back to this young lady and also to J Mo, right? And he didn't say J Mo. He said his legal name. He's like, yo, nah, J Mo. You remember J Mo? J Mo from the 12th Street Boys. You remember that? And of course, B Mickey's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Da 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 da. He's like, listen, man, I'm gonna put this on you, man. But I just want Meech. I want Meech. I don't care about you. I just want Meech. That's it, right? So we see now we got the pendant BMF And Meech is showing that to Terry. And yeah, it's looking real dope. And Terry's just like, yo, you really are going to be the king of Detroit for real. He's like, and Meech is like, yeah, we are. We going to be the kings of Detroit, man. We really going to put in this work. We've been doing a whole lot, man. And, and Terry's outside, just came from his lawyer and everything else like that, right? So Terry now is like, listen, man, I'm out. Me and Pops, we going to, buy up this car service and we're going to do cars. And Meech is laughing at it like, yo, for real? Like, how you going to start something, that you don't even know how to do? Like, you've been doing this all this time. Why you going to start something new? So Meech is like, okay, well, if it's the car service, that's fine. We can run some product through the cars. And Terry's just like, nah, I don't want anything to do with that at all. I'm done. I'm out, man. I really want to build a legacy for my family. So he's definitely buying into what Charles is saying, how, buying a car service, would definitely be able to give to, his son. And Meech is just like, yo, man, we hustlers, man. Like, what are you talking about? We was raised to do what we doing, man. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, this is what we do. And Terry's just like, yo, man, he puts the pendant on Meech's chest. It's like, yo, I'm out, man. I'm sorry. I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to get locked up. I don't want to do this anymore. So Terry starts walking away. And Meech is like, yo, man, how you just going to walk out? How you going to walk away from me, man? You my brother. You my baby brother. Like, how you going to do this? He's like, yo, Big L only deals with you. She don't deal with me. And Terry's like, yo, that's not my problem. Not my problem anymore. And Meech is just like, yo, don't walk away. What happened to womb to the tomb? What happened to that? And Terry just walks away. And, as he's reminiscing, Big Meech, as he's reminiscing how he wanted what he wanted, but he didn't really care what Terry wanted. Terry wanted this for himself. And that should have gave him pause. That should have, Terry walking away should have stopped him from continuing to go, but it didn't. It just gave him the push to go even harder. And he didn't realize how big his empire would actually be. So that is episode 8, season 1 finale of BMF. Definitely comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think about this episode. I think it was definitely a great episode. Your boy Lamar and Kato got their water cut off, right? Again, they don't show Lamar as dead, though. That's the thing. They do show him laid out, and that's a tough dude, right? So we're going to see what happens. What's going to happen with B. Mickey? Is B. Mickey going to snitch on Meech and Terry? What's going to happen with that? So you already know what it is. I appreciate all of you guys for hanging and rolling with me with this season. We got a season 2 coming up, so definitely stick around for the recaps, the final predictions of all of that. I appreciate and love all you guys. Let's continue to keep this thing going. Let's continue to share and like and comment. Let me hear your thoughts, and I appreciate all of you. So you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-J. I'm out. Salute.